How's it going, guys? Football-ManagerYouthDevelopment.co.uk here. In this episode of Football Manager Tactics A to Z, we're going to be taking a look at defending.
Don't let the bass get you.
When it comes to defending on Football Manager, there are a couple of key areas where you're going to be taking a look at setting up your defending and thinking about the structure of how your team is set up. Of course, the probably most important area that you're going to be taking a look at is on the tactics screen here. A thing that I like to do when I'm setting up any tactic, you can do this for both defending and attacking, but a good thing to do is just have a think. Based upon the roles and the duties that you give a player, what position, who's going to be helping out in defending and who's going to be, helping out when your team's attacking. So, for example, in this position, I've got two central midfielders. If you have a look at the description of the central midfielders will balance between attacking and defending. So they will get forward if necessary, but they will also get back and help in the defensive areas. So if we pretend that my team was up against a team that was being attacked, so what would basically happen, this midfielder would probably slip back into this position, this midfielder would slip back into this position, and also if we have a look at the sort of description of the wide midfielder as well. So the wide midfielder is very similar to the central midfielder role, and it says that they perform defensive and attacking duties on the flanks. The good thing about that is obviously that he's going to be willing to support out in the defence as well. I don't have any of my fullbacks or anything like that bombing forward, and my deep line playmaker is set on the defend duty, which means that he will just be fulfilling extra sort of defensive responsibilities, and he's rarely going to sort of support attacks. So I know that when I set up this particular shape that I had on the tactic before, that when my team is needing to defend, this is roughly how the shape of my team is going to look. The last game that I played in the league, I just won this game 2-0 against Raith Rovers. I was very happy with this performance as we managed to keep a clean sheet, and obviously we got 2 goals as well to get the 3 points on the board. It's really early days in this tactic that I've been developing here. And yeah, the sort of to get a clean sheet quite early doors gives me quite good hope that the defensive shape and structures that I've been setting up with this particular tactic are working out well. So on the last screen that we saw, number 16, 8 and 15, they were pretty much going to be pushing back into this position here. These are the average positions when my team does not have the ball. As you can see, number 20 and number 9, they're a lot further forward and they're not particularly helping out with the defensive shape of my team. So I've just loaded up this highlight here, and I just wanted to show you how this actually looks on the match engine and the type of things I'm actually looking at when I'm actually analysing my tactics and things like that. So obviously my number 9, which is my striker, he's just up top on his own. This is my number 20, who's my inside forward. The chances are that my inside forward is likely to start drifting forward rather than going back and helping out in the defence. But you can see the rest of my team here, they're my 2 central midfielders. This is my wide midfielder, and this is my deep line playmaker. The team are going to be attacking my team here, and we'll be able to see how my team basically breaks them down. So if we go forward here, you can see that my my centre back here, Gilchrist, is very close to this striker here, which is good. My 2 centre midfielders are very close to these guys here, which is pretty decent for me as well. You can see that my defensive midfielder is looking to go across to this guy Mackenzie to try and close him down. The only thing that I'm really thinking about here is that my left back is a little bit isolated against this guy. So that is basically what I could see was going to happen, and it was quite obvious that was a pass onto the guy. My centre midfielders, although they were in good positions to get this guy, they were close enough that this player here, their number 10, couldn't exactly pass it back to him. So the ball's going to go out wide here, and that leaves the guy with quite a lot of different options. For some reason, Rafe were really keen on sort of being really wide on this area of the pitch. I'm not particularly too sure what they were doing there, but certainly in the middle of the pitch, they've only actually got a couple of players, and I'm very happy with the kind of setup of my defence. my fullback is going to make an attempt to try and tackle this guy out here on the wing. He doesn't quite do it, but you can see here that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 guys in the box and they've only got 2. So the chances are that we should be able to clear this ball. We do. My centre-back manages to get hold of the ball. Again, because the guy on this side here is not particularly, my defender here has not got too much support on this left-hand side. Potentially what I could think about doing is making sure that this guy is helping out in defence. But it is quite nice, this guy. He's scored quite a number of goals so far this season. And I do like him being a little bit further forward, as he does have quite a lot of pace for counter-attacking. So the ball is going to come out into the middle of the pitch. You can see that my defence is quite structured. These are my 2 centre midfielders here. And my defender, my centre midfielder there, Hughes, makes a really good defensive tackle, and we do manage to clear the ball. We are a little bit compact potentially in the middle of the pitch, and I can see that my defensive midfielder, he's a little bit isolated, but we certainly do have enough kind of room. What I'm hoping is going to happen here, although this guy is kind of free on his own and he looks to have a lot of space, what I'm hoping is this number 16 is going to move forward to that guy. You can see how we're kind of moving around the pitch. So Rafe have got a couple more players sort of in and around, but we're certainly kind of hounding them down at the moment and looking to make some tackles. Because we're quite structured in the middle of the pitch, you can see here that as soon as my centre midfielder picks up the ball, we've got this guy here who's able to kind of move forward. Pretty poor pass, I guess, by my centre midfielder, but you can see the kind of intentions that we've got in terms of trying to look for this guy or trying to find my inside forward when we are trying to attack the ball. One thing that I do really think helps with the defensive shape of your team, quite often my teams will be on the structured team shape, and potentially if I do need to sort of get a goal or anything, then I might up it to, say, flexible or maybe even fluid. With the structured team shape, your players are going to just be concerned with the sort of their role and duty where they're meant to be sort of activated. So on potentially if you had the very fluid team shape, what you might see is this fullback might end up like somewhere random like up here and things like that. But with the structured team shape like this, he's mainly going to just be concentrating going up and down this area here, and he's not going to be having too much sort of creative freedom to just basically go wherever the hell he wants. So if you are struggling with defending, it's going to be really important to have a think about what players will be involved at the defensive phases of a game, and also just have a look at your team shape and potentially change it to structured, as I do think that really does help in terms of just being a little bit more solid at the back. Obviously, if you do need to sort of chase a game, or if you do need to score a goal, then you could potentially just up it to, say, flexible, for example, and then that would, make your team, as it says, be a little bit more flexible in terms of the positions that they're going to be on the pitch. I personally do always start my games off being structured, and then I can just change it as and when I need to. The same with the mentality as well. I generally always tend to start my games off as standard, and then if I do need to start scoring goals or, something like that needs to happen, then you can always just up it. But I do think it's a very good idea just to start off on standard and the structured team shape, and then that gives you quite a good solid foundation to start a game off. I'm going to call this the end of the episode here, guys. I'd like to hear your comments below about this video. If you do like the video, then do drop a like on the video, as it really does help. For the next letter, which is of course the letter E, we'll be looking at the efficiency of possession, and I'm hoping to get that video out pretty soon. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and we'll be back very, very soon for the next video.